Today we're going to be creating this looping smoke animation for the Blender game engine. So we're going to go ahead and get straight into that. You can also go ahead and download the finished texture in the description down below. So let's get straight into it. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and get straight into this by making the smoke. So let's go ahead and use this cube as our domain. Just put my headphones down. I don't need to wear them. And I'm going to move this cube up. So this is going to be our smoke domain. And I'm going to scale it up. And give it a nice height. So that looks good to me. So let's go ahead and add a circle. Cylinder. Whatever this is called. Ooh. Don't want to line to view. I'm going to change this to a triangular fill as well in this panel. So you click N, T, and you just drag this up in Blender and you have all the options for the latest thing you added. So now we've got that, let's move that up. And we're going to go ahead and come over here to the physics panel. So, physics. So use a little bouncing ball here. And we're going to go enable smoke, and we're going to turn this to flow, and all of this stuff here looks good. Let's go here and smoke, smoke, and we're going to change this to a domain. And as you can see now, we have some smoke happening, and it's what we want, but we want it to dissolve. So we can click this right here, and what's this going to do? It's going to dissolve really fast, so maybe not that fast, so I'm going to go with 20, maybe not 10, so it's going to give you the kind of nice effect from top down. What am I doing? 7, use number keys, and 5. So that's kind of smoke we're getting there, and it's a bit boring. So how do you make this more interesting? I mean, if you want it like this is fine. But the way I made mine a bit more interesting is by adding physics force fields right here. So you've got all these different ones, turbulence, force, which is this kind of force blown away, wind, all these different charge. But what I like to use is if you use a mix of turbulence and vortex. So let's add some turbulence. So here we go. And let's turn up the strength to see how it goes. So as you can see now, our fire's getting some really turbulence and it makes it look quite nice, or our smoke. And as you can see, so maybe let's turn that down to 10. So now, as you can see, now we have some nice smoke, and it's going with the turbulence, and I don't even want to turn that down. Let's go 4, and if you want to make it a bit more interesting, duplicate this and change this to a vortex. And what it's going to do is it's going to spin it around, so maybe not so much with the smoke. So that looks quite good. So one thing to note is moving the light will change how your smoke appears, and it is important because we're not going to be rendering out the normal ways because that's a bit slow and it's going to be really low resolution anyway, so we can do it a different way, which is going to be a lot faster render times. Alright, so here's some good smoke-ish. Really want to see how it's from top down. You could also do this from here and just have the camera sitting here, and then you might have, if you want this to be a tiling one, you might have to do some special stuff to get this smoke tiling upwards. But in my case, I'm going to do it from top down, so you don't need to worry about that kind of tileableness. So let's go ahead and go Alt R and Alt G when the camera is selected and move this up. Let's go into the camera. And as you can see now, we have the camera in a good position. You can see the smoke. Let's move this up. Now, the smoke could probably be better with a few more force fields and so on, but it should be fine for now. This is going to be low resolution anyway, so you don't need to worry about too much. But playing around with these vortexes and all that kind of stuff can give you some really nice effects. But for now, I'm going to go with a pixel amount of 100 by 100. Now, there is some number like 2 127, which is like supposed to be really good numbers for computers and stuff. If I can't remember, but it doesn't matter. Just pick a number which is not too high resolution. Even probably go low. It depends on how far away the smoke's going to be seen from. So let's go ahead and go start. Play this back. And alright, there's a good bit of our smoke. So let's render this out. OpenGL render down here. Now these are important to use because if you use any other type, it's going to render as a render and it's not going to look good. So let's render it. And there is our smoke, but you can't see anything. So what you want to go ahead and do is switch this down here. You want to switch display to only render. And once you've done that, you'll have these annoying things. So we also want to go ahead and select wheel background to over here. You want to set wheel background that will show the color of the background here. You can change that. And now you can see all the things that were showing up before, they're now black. And we also might want to go ahead and switch this. So let's add new material on this. And I'm also going to switch this to halo. And what this is going to do is basically make it invisible. So now we have some nice smoke. If you had far away smoke, you could even use this render out like this for a short film or something. But it's a nice way to get some nice smoke. And now, if we render it out, you see we have some nice smoke here. Resolution might not be the best depending on how far away it is, but it will kind of like blend between it and Blender with bitmaps, which is, it works. So this resolution works for what we need. Alright. So if you want to get different effects, you can go ahead and come to the domain. And you can go ahead and change this up to maybe 64. But of course, you're going to get slower render times. You might want to change some of those other values for it to fit better. And this would actually work really good for the back of a jet engine or something. Now that I'm looking at it, or something like that. But let's go with 32. Right. So now that we've got that, we have some nice smoke, and it doesn't look quite as good as it did in my first one, but it looks okay. In that one I did use particles, so what you can go ahead and do, so if I can select this, what you can go ahead and do is you can have particles coming over here, and then the smoke emits from those particles, which can look quite nice, but this should be fine. You can come up with better smoke. I'm just teaching you the technique on how to turn it into a repeating, tileable, loopable smoke, which is actually fairly easy. So now that we've done that, what we're going to go ahead and do is the output's going to go to desktop, and we're going to create one that's going to be called smoke render. So let's go ahead and go into that, and we're just going to click accept, and we're going to render out all 250 frames. So, also another reason is this needs to be 100%, or else you're only getting 50 pixels. So what that should do is if we play it a little bit. Now you can bake this, but I haven't been able to figure out how to get it to bake. It's all grayed out and I can't figure it out. So if you know why it's all grayed out in the smoke options, I would love to know, because it's annoying. There we go. Also, moving where the point lamp is in the scene can also change the lighting to what you want. So there we go. That's kind of better lighting depending on what angle you want it to come from. So there we go. There's some smoke we've got all good. Alright, so I'm just rambling a little bit now. So let's go ahead and click this OpenGL active render viewport. Active viewport. Yes, that one. This one right here. So it's a little animation, little movie clippy thing, whatever they're called. We're going to click that, and it's going to render them all out, and it's actually super fast. Depends if how fast your computer is at simulating. So you can see it lagged a little bit there, but there we go. So now we have a whole bunch of frames rendered out. So let's go ahead and come over to the video editor, and we're going to go ahead and come to image, and we're going to go to our desktop, and we're going to go into our smoke render folder. And what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to grab those from frame 100, and then we're going to go Control Shift, and we're going to click on frame 200 right here. So now that we've got that, we can click that, and what you should see is we have our smoke, and what Blend does, it nicely puts into a little kind of movie almost thing. So there is our smoke. It could be better, but you know, I'm happy with it, and I'm sure you can come up with better things, and there's lots of tutorials on smoke, so all you need to do is just do the rendering part however you want it, the way we do, and the rest can be done however you want it. So there we go. There's some smoke. I'm sure it could be useful for something, and I'm not sure why this is over 100 frames. So we obviously selected 101 frames, which we don't want. So let's go to movie, smoke. Oh, not movie. It's not going to show up anything. Image. Let's go ahead and select 100. Control Shift. 200. Let's add image is. So now, hopefully, this has got 100 frames. Let's go to Control T. So we seem to be selecting more frames. Not sure why that is, but what we can go ahead and do is we just come here and click K and cut off those 100 frames. So might want to move that along. Blender's got a strange thing right now where it's like off the marker, so I don't know. Like if I was to put the end thing here, it would work, but you know, it's this a strange end is over here, but it doesn't look like. I'm not sure what's happening there, but what we're going to go ahead and do is just come to about here, and we're going to cut that off. And what that should do is we should have now 100 frames. So let's click end. Now we've got 100 frames here. So what we want to do, because right now, watch this, you see it's not looping, which is not what we want. But luckily, since we're working with smoke, we can kind of cheat it. So let's come to our images. So add images, and the reason we rendered these extra ones, which you didn't need to render so many extra ones, but since I didn't bake the simulation, we had to render all of these from 0 to whatever, because I couldn't bake it because I don't know how to bake it. So that's why I did all this. Smoke has a problem with baking. Well, I probably didn't set something right, but anyway, what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to select from 99 to 90, and this is what's so what you see now here is we're going from 90 to 99, and the next frame is 100, so you're going to get a loop, and it's not going to contain the first frame of where it loops around, because you don't want that. So let's go add these images in, and you'll see what I'm talking about. So let's add these images in. So it's from frame 90 to frame 99. What you'll see here is we've got the frames that are leading up to here and not frame 100, so you're not going to get a jittery loop. And what we're going to go and do is click I on the anyway, we're going to change that to 0, and we're going to hit I again, and we're going to go to frame, the last frame, and we're going to come up here, and we're going to change this to 1, and we're going to hit I. So now what you should see is what it's doing is animating between 0 and 1, so that it fades from the old one to the new one. So it's pretty indistinguishable, and it looks pretty good for most of what you want to do. So I believe we might want to change this to 100 right here. So there we go. So now we should be able to make this big, and you shouldn't really be able to tell where it's looping. Alright, so now what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to come back to the normal view, and we are going to click animate. But we want to go ahead and output this to a new folder in here. So this is going to be render render 2. Let's click that and let's go accept, and we're going to be rendering 100 frames. So let's click animate, and as you can see, it's pretty much instant. So now we're going to go ahead and get into using GIMP to stitch all of these together. Alright, so we're going to be using this SL animated texture add-on, which credit goes to the Timpster for finding, and it's a great add-on that stitches all of the pictures together, so you don't have to do it by hand, which is kind of annoying. So the way we've got to do this is we're going to go ahead and copy this script. So you want to copy down to here, Control C. Now we've got the whole script copied. We can come to our desktop, and we're going to create a new text document, and we're going to go inside of that, and we're going to go Control V, and it's going to paste it. Might be different on Mac, I'm not sure about that, but on Windows this is what you do. And we can go ahead and click save as, and we want to save as, let me go have a look. We want to go ahead and save this as a, it's somewhere down here, MS installation, save it as MCS. So I'm going to go ahead and save this as a MCS. I believe it is. So MCS, is it? SCM. SCM. So, you can have this whatever name you like. I just picked that. So we're going to click save. Hopefully I did that right. And no, it just saved as a normal one. So what you go ahead and do is save as. And you need to switch this from text.txt to all files. So now if we click save and you say yes, what it should have done is I need to delete this because it's just going to save it in the same format. Save as, text document, save.scm. So now, please tell me, yes, so now we have a SCM file here, and what you want to go ahead and do is go to your C drive, and then you want to go to users, John, oh well not John, but whatever user you're on, whatever user GIMP is installed on, and then .gimp 2.8, and then click on that, and then you want to come down to plugins, and you want to dump it in here. So I already dumped it in here. So now we have GIMP open, and once you've done that, we have this new script up GIMP or whatever it is, and then you see down here Second Life, because that's what it was made for, so I guess it's called that, and it's frames to texture. So what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to go ahead and open images, open as layers. So what this allows us to do is come down to Smoke Render L1 and come down to Smoke 2 and grab all of these, and it's going to open all of these up, and you can use Shift, by the way, to select all of those. So select the top one, hold Shift, and then select the bottom one, it will select all of them. Click open, and it's going to open them all on the same image as a layer. If you just open them normally and use that Shift thing, it's going to open up lots and lots of tabs on this GIMP thing, and it's not going to work. So now that that's done, what we want to go ahead and do is click the script foo or whatever it is, and you're going to go Second Life, frame to texture, disable this because we don't need it, and we're going to go horizontal 10 and vertical 10, because we've got 100 frames, so we're going to have 10 along here and 10 down, so that's going to be 100 frames altogether, so it should work. So let's click OK, and as you can see now, it's generated a whole animated map, and you didn't have to go to all of the work to creating it by hand and dumping each image in, which would have been annoying. Of course, all the thanks goes to the Timster for finding this out. He has a great video on it. So that's how I found out about it. But anyway, let's go ahead and export this as a... you could export this as a JPEG. I preferred PNG myself, so I'm going to call this smoke.png. And this is going to go to desktop. I already have one there, so I'm just going to call it smoke one. You probably don't have any file called that on your desktop, so you should be fine. So now we can open up a new blend file, add a plane or whatever you wanted, and then you want to go ahead and come down here to the node editor, UV image editor, unwrap, open, desktop, smoke one or whatever you named it, and as you can see, it's our smoke, and I believe by default there is going to be something wrong with this. So now, just the way the script does it, so what we should see now is if we go into textured mode, game, and we change this to shading to GLSL and make this shadeless, and come over here, select our smoke texture. So as you can see, we got this jumping effect. So what you'd be able to do, and this can be a problem, so you're gonna maybe want to flip your image, maybe you want to flip your image around in Blender's node editor. But basically, we're going to come here and use this tool right here. So this flip, and you're going to click it, and that's going to flip the image around. And let's go export to the one we have. It's like, let's go ahead and try reload this with this little reload button here. And this is going to work, but it's not. It's going the wrong way, which we don't want. So you can go undo that, I believe, and we can go ahead and select this vertical, flip it that way, and it can be a little bit strange depending on your image. What you should see now is if we retry that. So now the smoke's going the right way. So sometimes you have to flip it left to right, and sometimes you have to flip it up and down. I'm not sure why. I guess it's just the way that orders it, and Blend has a different order on how it does it, so you might want to play around with that. I have it's a little bit strange. I haven't been able to find exactly how it works, but now you can see we have some nice smoke in the game, and we can go ahead and click alpha, and then we can click here RGB to intensity, change that, and then maybe change it to black, and then we can go ahead and come here, and we can go ahead and enable transparency, Z transparency, and turn the alpha down, and voila, now we have our nice smoke. So that's everything you might want, and you might want to tweak it a bit to have it how you wanted it, and I believe it goes a bit over here, so you don't want that either. You might want to fix that. I believe if we disable this, no, it looks about the same. There we go. So that's how you make smoke in Blender. I'm sure people can improve on it, and please do. It's pretty basic, but it works pretty nicely, and I believe that bit's where it fades. So you might need to change the kind of smoke you have, and it can't really go over the bounds of the camera. So I'm probably needed to move the camera up or something like that. But I hope this helped you, and using a different kind of smoke, I'm sure, would have a different result. But that is a tutorial. If you like it, I come out with new tutorials every single week, so you can go ahead and subscribe if you want to see those. So have a great week and keep blendering, and I guess no one's probably watching anymore. So goodbye, whoever's watching.